Good morning and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be updating the pipe work for the filters. Originally I was planning to build a decking over this section of the pond, however I've decided now after a few years I can improve the flow of the pumps a lot more by changing the pipe work from what it is currently because of the current restrictions I put on it. I've tried to keep everything really low, but that meant putting a lot more 90-degree bends in. Everything down here is really dirty at the minute because originally there was a concrete shelf over here, and basically the whole idea of doing this was to try and fit a bypass kit to the bead filter, but to do that I needed more room to be able to fit the bypass in front. So to do that I've took the shelf out there and moved everything back 16 inch, or will be moving everything back 16 inch. So to achieve that I had to do a lot of grinding and obviously slashing up the concrete that was in that corner, so there's a bit of dust on everything at the minute, so it's a bit dirty down here. Basically currently I'm running two 20,000 litre superfish pumps, which if you read the instructions actually only run at I think 18,500 litres at about 220 watts. Now I've done some bucket tests on the shower to find out actually what we're getting out of them, and what I've determined is so far I've been able to get around 7,000 to 8,000 litres through the bead, which I've managed to get close to the 8,000 mark from the 7,000 mark by just changing the holes from the spray bar by increasing the diameter slightly and putting a few more extra holes in just to experiment with it, just to make sure I've got the pressure right. I don't want to create too much back pressure in the spray bar. As you can see, there's a lot of 90-degree bends I put in to try and keep it at the lowest height possible. My plan today is to take all them pipes out, fit the bypass, and basically I think we're going to reduce it down to one 90-degree bend and 3 swept 90-degree bends instead of 12 90-degree bends. So that combined with the bypass kit should dramatically, or I'm hoping to see an improvement, hopefully, from around the 8,000 litre mark up to hopefully above 10. So I mean, if I can achieve that, that'd be brilliant. But I mean, looking at the height increase from 18,000 litre in a perfect scenario, we are pumping up about 1.5 meters to the top there in the shower. So I think the rated flow rate at that height anyway is only I think when I looked at the graphics, somewhere between 13 and 14,000 litres. So, and the fact we've got a bead filter on it, which is obviously going to create back pressure, any increase would be good, but I think we'd be lucky to get around the 10. But if I can, that'd be brilliant. As for the UV, again, the UV kind of is just a Frankenstein of a bit of monstrosity, really, unfortunately. Just spin around. Again, covered in dust from when I was grinding, but basically I started off with one 55 watt UV. That wasn't enough, so then I added a 35 watt, which then was in again in series. That wasn't enough, so then I switched it up from the 35 watt up to this longer 75 watt one in tandem with the 55 watt. So I didn't intend to buy the 35 watt to begin with. I accidentally picked that one up instead of a 55 watt one because it was in the same box. I didn't realise the sticker in the corner was denoting between 35 and the 55. I didn't realise it was in the same size box, so that was a bit of a mistake buy. So if anything now, I mean, this seems to be far too much, if anything, power than what I need. And my plan is to swap that to a 110 single watt unit. The plan with that is basically all the mess of the pipes having to go from one end of the UV back round up and then up, but also these UVs in particular, the Evolution Aqua ones at this size, are all 1.5 inches. So I'm having to go 1.5 inches from the pumps through all the pipe work and then up to the shower. The 110 UV from Evolution Aqua has 2-inch solvent weld fitted straight on it, so I can go 2 inch straight from the pump up to the UV and over to the shower. As far as pipe distance goes, I don't think there's going to be a massive difference when I've done this later on today in the overall length of the pipe, but I am hoping that switching it up from 1.5 to 2 inch will increase the flow, because obviously it's 1.5. You've got a lot more turbulent flow through the pipework, causing more resistance and obviously increasing the pressure. Also, because I've got some of this ribbed piping, the ribbing on the pipework, obviously because it's not smooth wall, also increases drag by about 5%. So that's why I've used the strong air hosing for as much as I can, but at the time I needed the the ribbed hose quickly to do the job. So I'm hoping by increasing that up to 2 inch will make a big improvement, because surprisingly, I mean, I thought the bead would have a lot less flow rate when I did the bucket test compared to the UV, because the bead's got a lot more back pressure on it from what I've understood, because they're both pumping to the same height. There is obviously slightly more pipe work on the UV, but not a huge amount more. But overall, the UV is actually only getting about 5,000 to 6,000 litres out the shower. When you think of it's an 18,000 litre pump, is only a third of what it can be doing. Fair enough, in the best scenario it might only be achieving 13 because of the height it's pumping upwards, but that's still half. Which really surprised me, because I thought the UV flow rate would be a lot higher, simply because it's not going through the bead filter, which that did surprise me. So I'm hoping by alleviating the pipework up to 2 inch from 1.5 inch, we see some kind of difference, and it'll hopefully look a lot neater as well. And I may be able to build something over this filter area in the future, hopefully. Because as you can see over there, we've got the decking, so my plan is to step it up and come straight over the top. But we'll see how we go. That's today's plan anyway. I'm going to start in the next hour or so. My brother's coming to give me a hand to lift this bead out, because I believe we're going to have to lift it right out to get enough space in this area to do what I need to do. Obviously I'm doing unions between all the solvent weld joints, so if anything needs to come apart like the UV, or I need to swap the pumps out, I will be able to. One other thing I noticed on the 4-foot 75 watt UV is the price of the bulbs. The 55 watt bulbs are around a tenner. For the extra 20 watts, I think they're nearly £30 for the Evolution Aqua 75 watt one, simply because there's not many places to do them at that size. So the price of changing I can change both the bulbs in the 110 and still save a substantial amount compared to swapping the bulbs on this 175 watt one, so that's good as well. And to be fair, I was due to change the bulbs in these anyway, so by ordering the new 110 I've saved myself £40 by not having to have a 55 watt bulb and a new 75 watt bulb, because obviously it comes with bulbs in the 110. Obviously at the minute I am running at 130 watts UV power, because obviously you've got the 75 and the 55, and I'm going to be going down to 110, so I am losing 20 watts of obviously UV equivalent. I don't think that's going to be a problem, because I think this was overkill from the beginning, but hopefully obviously with the flow going through it quicker, I need to be slightly careful it's not passing through too quickly. But at 12, even if we get say pumping up 1.5 meters and we end up getting, well, the perfect number would be 13,000 without any resistance at all in the pipework. So if we got that, that's near enough half what the 110 UV is rated for, so it should be nice and slow through there to give it plenty of chance to kill the algae, but obviously a lot quicker hopefully than what we're currently getting. So I'll make a start now and hopefully take some more videos later on when we've got a bit further and set it all up, and give you an update and hopefully do some more bucket tests on the pond.